Hello and welcome to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. Today, our special guest is Tom Yeshurun, and he is the founder and CEO of Civ Robotics out of San Francisco. So he's a little bit closer to me than a lot of my guests. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thanks for having me here, Sean.
So are you working with robotics, trying to replace humans? Is that the whole idea? You're going to take everybody's job?
No, not at all. There's a lot of jobs open in construction, especially in solar farms. And our goal is to empower the people in the field today to get the job done faster and more efficient as we build more and more solar farms outside the middle of nowhere.
Great. So you're making a solar farm building robot then?
Yeah, we're empowering the field to get the job done faster. So we're giving them a tool to help them get it done faster with less labor-intensive tasks.
Yeah, and then I wonder about those robots. Do they get injured? Do they slip discs? Do they have shooting pain or anything like that?
No, they don't take breaks, and they don't take sick leave or PTO. It's a tool.
Yeah, it's just like I remember when they came out with the computer, or like not the first computer, but like when people started really using computers. I guess that was in like somewhere around the year 2000. And it was like everybody was afraid that there would be no jobs left. And now everybody's got a job operating a computer. And I noticed on LinkedIn, it says that you are hiring. So you have some jobs for some people?
Yeah, of course. We have job openings for both the talent in the operations side and also in the development and the sales. We're a growing company, growing customers, a growing market, and we're here to support that.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I was in high school, there was a lot of people that I was hanging out with that were like breakdancing and popping and all that kind of stuff. And they had a dance called the robot. Do you know that dance? Can you do it? Can you? Yeah. Oh, there you go. He's doing it. All right. So everybody out there, get your robot on. And now you have your robots. What's their dance called? The human?
Our robots are basically a four-wheel drive machine that drives around the job site and does surveying. So it does not look like a humanoid or anything like that. It's literally like a small buggy.
Mm-hmm. And what does it do?
So we have multiple products. Our bread and butter until 2025 has been surveying, so construction surveying. In a nutshell, an example of a solar farm, you have foundations that have to be installed in a precise location. So we have a robot that will drive out to the field and physically mark where to install the piles. So then later the pile driver will come and install the pile right there.
How does it mark it? Like spray paint or something?
So we have a spray paint version, and we also have a laser beam, and then the person puts the marker in the ground.
Okay, so the spray paint version, for the gangsters that are putting graffiti all over the place, could they get less likely to get busted if they used a robot, perhaps?
Not really. Our robot marks on the ground, not on the wall, like most graffiti people.
Yeah, some people in my gang do tag the ground, You hear that, gang members out there? And so you're doing surveying. Is that primarily what your robots are doing, is surveying?
Yeah. Surveying is our primary use case. And now we have a new product that's more, it's still a surveying product in a way. It still uses the same technology of surveying, but it's more like a very, very precise Google Maps. So guiding operators of heavy machinery where to drive and where to stop and where to perform a task. We also have a version with autonomy, but that's not yet available for the market.
Like where to put the piles, I guess, and stuff like that. Driving piles.
Where to put the piles, where to stage the PV modules as pallets, where to install the torque tubes, where to distribute the torque tubes. Solar farm is a logistics problem. We have hundreds of trucks on a weekly basis enter a solar farm and have to drop all this material. And then that material has to be installed and distributed across thousands of acres. And we're helping solve that problem.
Yeah, I guess you don't want them dropping this stuff where you're going to be doing work and you have to keep moving it and dropping it on the road that's your main access and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just came back from a job site in Tennessee, literally last night, and the skid steer was driving piles about 500 yards to a drop-off location from the bundle. Like, that's just silly. He literally spent almost the same amount of time driving from the loading area to where to drop it one by one than actually dropping it. So if the pile bundles would have been much closer, let's say 50 yards, 100 yards, he would have probably almost doubled his output. that day.
Wow. Yeah. Where do you see the evolution of robotics, maybe through your company or just in general? Are they going to be driving the piles?
Yes, I see that in 3 to 5 years from now, we'll see more. I don't want to say robot. It's the same machines we have today, just driven by autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay. Great.
we're working already on distributing the piles without operators.
Mm-hmm.
So I do believe that in 3 to 5 years from now, we'll have piling, installation, distribution, torque tube, and hopefully also PV module installation without or with very little human intervention.
What do you think it'll look like in 100 years? Will it just be, you know, all robots and like some of them flying, some of them on wheels, and it's just a big swarm comes, and then you come back a couple days later and it's like, whoa, it's a whole solar farm.
To be honest, I don't know if we'll need as much solar farms in 100 years from now, or if solar farm will be the best source of energy in 100 years.
Back
I
to
don't
coal,
know.
right? Coal? Is that? No, I'm kidding.
Don't know. Nuclear, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah, or maybe
if
solar in space. Yeah.
yeah, if solar would still be the main source of energy in 100 years from now, I would say that robotics will play even more greater role than in 5 years from now, of course, as you can imagine. And it would be probably more like a prefabrication installation solution. And I have seen a lot of solar on water.
Yeah.
And it's very, very intuitive and very, very straightforward.
So your company is hiring right now and you're working with robotics. That sounds like a really good opportunity for somebody to get a super future-proof job, because you can't say that being able to work in robotics is not going to be one of the biggest, fastest growing careers that there is out there. And so it would be sort of like getting into solar in the 90s or something, probably.
I totally agree with that statement. I think that whoever chooses to work in robotics in today's market has a solid future for the next at least decade or two.
How soon until you're a billionaire?
I don't think I want to be a billionaire.
Okay, I'm going to give you my bank account address, some routing numbers and things like that. So what kind of jobs do you have for people, like just getting into robotics? I remember when I first got into solar in the early 2000s, like my first full-time job, I did sort of get into it in the 90s, but full-time in the early 2000s, is I was telling them that I'll take any job. I don't care how much you pay me. I just want to get some experience in this industry because I know it's growing fast.
Yeah, we're hiring robotics officer engineers. We're buying hardware.
Robotics engineers, we're hiring full stack development, backend development. We're hiring sales reps at a lower level and also account management level. And we're also hiring field robotics engineers who are basically responsible for supporting our customers, onboarding customers, and training them.
I guess like you might have people transitioning from other solar jobs. So perhaps the field engineer, that's somebody out there that's like making them work in the field, like, I guess. And so somebody with that kind of job might be somebody that's good with like solar O&M too, something like that. Maybe somebody has a NABCEP PV commissioning and maintenance specialist certification, something like that. Maybe would be a good combo for somebody out there doing that kind of stuff. And then a lot of them sounded like they're engineering jobs, software coding, software engineering.
So a lot of software engineers are now transitioning also into robotic software. It's a different space versus embedded or high-level software or cloud software stuff. It's still software, but it's software on robotics. Algorithm can be used for robotics as well. So there's a lot of different software in robotics. I would like to say that 95% of robotics is software. The other 5% is the hardware that the software is running on. And I think so a lot of software development is being pulled into robotics. And what you actually mentioned about field engineers, I'm a construction field engineer by trade. And I'm doing robotics now. And I think that people who come from the field have a lot of value to add, even for startups like Civ, because they understand the use case, understand how the field works, and can be a good asset for companies like Civ for product, for operation. They're not going to necessarily code, but they can definitely add value to even sales. A lot of the sales reps I know that are doing really well in the surveying world were physically surveyors before.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm sure too that people that are already working in the solar industry with, some sort of sales job would be really good at doing sales for you. They probably already are very familiar with walking around a solar farm, knowing
Correct.
people in the industry.
Knowing the people, knowing the language, knowing the land, or what players do what, and what areas they exceed at, and who is more innovative, who is more old school. Definitely having industry knowledge and experience is super valuable in the business side as well.
So how would somebody start? It's like buy one robot, or, how do you get started?
So we are very, very important for us to keep the barrier of getting immersed in, like you said, try the machine. So we do a rental product or rental agreements. And even in the rental agreement, we have a way out. So during training, if they don't like it, if it doesn't hit the KPIs, we pack the robot and leave.
What's a
In our
KPI?
contract.
KPI?
KPI. So let's say we say the robot can mark 2 points a minute, and we get there and we're not able to hit that target. It only marks 1 point a minute. We cancel, terminate the contract immediately.
Okay.
If the customer wants.
What does KPI stand for?
Key performance indicator.
Okay, key performance indicators. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So if in our contract, if the robot is not hitting those key performance indicators, for instance, 3 points a minute, 2 points a minute, depending on your spacing and accuracy requirements, the customer can choose to back out of the agreement.
And fire that robot.
In a way, they're not firing the robot, they're firing us, Civ. Luckily, until today, I haven't had to use that clause, except for once, 3 years ago, when the terrain was so sandy. It was very June. And 3 months later, we came back with special sand tires, actually from the motorcycle space, and it works well. So only once in the last 3 years, I had to activate that clause.
So somebody wants to work for you, probably off-road motorcycle experience is a good key thing that you're looking for on a resume. Yeah, great. We interrupt you for a very important announcement. Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast has been brought to you by Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. That's right, Sean White is sponsoring his own podcast, and he wants to remind you to go check out some of his classes. You can go to SolarSEAN, that's Solar, SEAN.com, and then click on the links to check out his classes. You can check out his heat spring classes, and you can also hire him to teach classes for you, like at your company, something like that. Now back to the show. So I was also wondering about like the dimensions of the robot, like height, weight, width, all that kind of stuff.
It's not that big. It's actually like 30 inches tall and about 3 feet wide and length, and weighed about 80 pounds.
80 pounds. All right, great. And I guess probably lithium ion batteries and all that kind
Correct.
of stuff that
Yeah.
we're very familiar with. And it seems like such a new industry. And you were talking about, I think you said 3 years ago. It seems, I'm sure that 3 years ago compared to now is like your product's probably way different, way better.
Oh, yeah.
How far back do you go?
So we started the company about 5 years ago and development. And about 3 years ago, we started shipping out product to the market. And I found that getting the feedback and getting the robot to crash or to break is the best way to develop. Because now
Like a rocket.
Yeah, it breaks. You find out what broke, what happened, and you improve. You iterate. And by doing a lease model, the customer is not affected as much from it because we just swap that machine and he has a new one and he can keep on running. And this is our third jet already. So this machine is already pretty robust. And at a point that we're so comfortable with and know it's rugged enough that we have shipped them across the world to Australia, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Spain, Germany, Portugal, Romania even. So we're at a point now that's reliable and has already proven its ruggedness in job sites across the US and the world now that are very comfortable shipping out across the ocean.
So are you making them in the U.S.?
Yeah, in San Jose.
Right here in San Jose. Great.
Made in America, built for America. When we ship outside the world, we do buy batteries from the local producers because we don't want to ship batteries across on the plane. That's not best practice.
Do you usually ship them by plane? Is that?
Yeah. It's funny. Shipping to Dubai is faster and cheaper than shipping to Tennessee.
Yeah. That's
of the
kind of
world.
crazy. Why is that, I wonder?
Because in the US, shipping crates is by ground.
Uh-huh.
So shipping all the way from California to Tennessee is probably goes by 3 different stops and by trucks and trains and whatnot.
Oh,
While to Dubai, there's basically like by plane. That's pretty much it.
oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Is it first class or coach? Yeah.
I don't know, whatever FedEx puts it in.
Uh-huh. All right. And then when you're shipping things to different countries, are there security things? I know that a lot of times what we're worried about here in the US is people spying on us, like,
Even though it is a surveying tool, it's not spying on the people. It's actually a tool. I don't like calling it a robot anymore. It's a tool, just like surveying have a handheld antenna that they walk around with, or they have a hammer drill. Before they used to hammer it down. Now, instead of carrying that surveying tool, they press a button and follow the robot.
so when you're building a solar farm, do you have a suggestion like how many robots per megawatt or gigawatt or something like that?
It's more about the production daily that you want to install. So if you want to install 2,000 piles a day, I would say 2 Civ dots will be sufficient. The ratio of pile drivers per project. So
like one does 1,000?
yeah,
Like
one
that?
usually does 1,000.
Okay. Pretty
You can
cool.
do more, you can do less, depending on your requirements. But we'll thumb 1,000 a day, or for every 4 pile drivers, 1 Civ dot.
All right. Any plans to make any of them fly?
It's funny that you asked that. We actually started with a drone.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
you
our
started
first
with
po-
a drone.
Our first robot was actually a drone that fly, land, and drill a stick in the ground.
Okay, cool. And then you decided to go to wheels for some reason. I guess that was better.
Better, safer, cheaper, more effective, but the most important thing is less skilled. So today we can train anyone to use our machine. Anyone within a couple hours. With a drone-based solution, you have to have a certified operator,
Oh, yeah. FAA, all that stuff.
FAA approved, yeah. Consume a lot more batteries, a lot more energy, and do less than half the output. So if I could tell you, pay Civ more so you could do less and pay an operator more, why would you do that?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. And so speaking of charging, like how often do you charge? How big's the battery? All that kind of stuff?
Most customers charge once a day, if at all. So it's a hot swap battery. I will provide customers 2 batteries. They can swap in the middle of the day if they want to. But most customers are running about 5-6 hours on 1 battery pack. And usually they hit that output already within 6 hours of operation.
Great. Do you have these things going 24/7 sometimes?
Very unlikely. Most job sites are operating no more than 10 hours a day. And even during those 10 hours a day, as we spoke earlier, people take breaks. It is required for them to take breaks for safety of their livelihood and also their sanity.
Maybe not in some of those countries.
At least in the US.
Yeah.
But funny that you said, actually, in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, it's so hot that they work for like 3 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening. And there's like a 7-hour block that they just don't work because it's so hot. It's like 130 degrees. The robots can operate, actually.
Do they have cameras on them, I'd assume?
No,
Like,
no
how do
cameras.
they see where to go and not to bump into stuff?
So there's always a person in the loop, which is why I call it more of a tool. We actually do have obstacle detection on the machine, and it will just stop if needed. But most customers turn off that feature. And it's using surveying grade GPS technology for positioning and INU for tilt correction, or basically the terrain is not flat. There's some inclination. So by using those 2 sensors, combining it, it's able to drive very, very precisely and stop within less than an inch.
Wow, that's pretty good. All right. So how do people get some of these robots and work with you?
So a lot of our customers just reach out to us on our website, and we hop on a video call, about 30 minutes, maybe another phone call, and ship a machine out. We'll keep it very, very straightforward, very clean. And we'll also go to industry events like RE+, Clean Power, and other events across the U.S. that people can see the machine also in person.
Great. And I guess the next conference that we have coming up is Solar San Diego.
Yep.
Are you guys going to be there?
We're going to be there, probably going to be walking the floor, because I think we're going to be in another conference at the same time elsewhere in the world.
Okay.
So-
Yeah, and you could have the robot walk the floor for you. That'd probably draw a little bit more attention than some human.
I actually got kicked out from one conference for driving the robot, even though I was literally driving to our booth.
They kicked you out? What's
They tried to kick me out. I'm like, guys, I'm driving to the booth. Here's our booth. No.
Yeah, they probably wanted $1,000 for that or something. Just conference people.
Yeah.
So let's see. So maybe you could tell people where to find you and your robots and all that kind of stuff.
So we have about 150 robots deployed across the world, a lot in the Midwest, a lot in Texas, some California, some in the East Coast. Like I said, a bunch in the Middle East and Europe. And we're going to be at these industry events, as you mentioned, Intersolar. We're actually going to be in Intersolar Europe as well. And
I'll
Clean
see you
Power.
there. Yeah.
Are you going to be there also?
Yeah. Yeah.
Also.
And snack? Do you get a snack?
was
Except you
also-
might not want to go there because that's where they're going to steal your idea. Huh?
I don't believe, the Germans are pretty straightforward. They don't steal, they just borrow.
Yeah. There are snacks in China. So yeah. Sure, yeah. And has anybody like taken your idea? Have you seen that?
Not taking our idea. There are other companies who do similar stuff for road markings. They actually were before us, and I've seen a bunch of companies who basically imitate that as well. But we specialize in off-road construction.
Great.
So solar farmers have been a better butter, but we also operate in other construction of infrastructure projects.
Great. So thanks, Tom Yeshurun, founder and CEO of Civ Robotics. And what does Civ stand for? CIV?
Civil engineering.
Civil robotics. And so your robots are very civil. They're well behaved. They're not going to come after you. Not like Arnold Schwarzenegger in one of those Terminator movies or anything like that. Any famous last words or want to tell us your website?
We keep it straightforward and simple. CivRobotics.com.
All right.
And our key three values are being precise, simple, and fast.
Great. Okay. How fast do they go? Quarter mile.
They drive at 3 to 4 feet a second.
Okay.
But again, the beauty is being able to lay out, let's say, 3 points a minute versus a point every other minute. With one person instead of two people, that's fast.
And so when you're doing this, it's pretty much like somebody's walking with a robot. So you don't need to go faster than a person walks.
Yeah. Person speed is fine. And like I said, I always like to say when I talk to prospects, you don't need a napkin to do the math. It's a waste of a napkin. It's that simple. You want to have 6 or 8 people doing the work, or you want to just take 1 or 2 and perform the same amount of work and have the other 6 people doing other work in the solar farm. If it's doing panel install, torque tube install, whatever, there's so much work to be done with those people.
Now we're putting the people making napkins out of work. Haha. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tom Yeshurun,
Thank you,
for
Sean.
being on the podcast. And you are the founder and CEO of Civ Robotics, working out of Silicon Valley.
I think it would be also nice to add that Civ Robotics has helped to build 30 gigawatts of solar farm across the world.
Wow, 30 gigawatts.
Yeah.
That is 30,000 megawatts. 30,000 million watts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of watts.
Yes.
Well, that's pretty cool. Keep it up.
Thank
And
you.
I'm looking forward to seeing you bring the price of solar down so solar will be even less expensive. Thanks for changing the world, Tom. And thanks for listening to Sean White's Solar and Energy Storage Podcast. Go out there and get yourself NABCEP certified. Maybe you could try the PV CMS this time. That's the PV Commissioning and Maintenance certification from NABCEP, and I have the classes for that. Go check it out. SolarSEAN.com. Ow!